What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswaves. Hopefully you had a good weekend, had some fun here, went ahead and did the Spawncast, of course, and that just erupted into an argument about if Mario Sunshine can be considered a good game or not, just in general, I guess. And then also took a look at some Genesis controllers that are USB and work on the Genesis Mini and the Switch. And I went ahead and bolstered the GameCube collection a bit further with some pretty rare games. I would go check that out. And also made a second channel. If you're curious what the second channel is for, it's mostly for kind of fun and talking about different topics that are still like within like the nerd culture in general, like pop culture and nerdy stuff, but maybe outside of gaming at times. And it's just another channel to put some more videos on, so that way if you don't want to, I guess, be blown up with notifications, you don't technically have to be subscribed to it, but go check it out and see if it's stuff you'd be interested in, and give it a subscribe if you enjoy it. As for today, we're gonna take a look at a few things, including some Switch Lite news that's come out, some impressions even, and there are some official and professional ones that are coming out, coming up, I believe, soonish, with an embargo that's in place right now. But I was able to confirm something that I noticed on that FCC document that appeared to show a pretty interesting change coming to the Switch Lite that we'll talk about a bit here. And then also I wanted to go over Pokemon Masters, and then an interesting game that maybe is seeing a remake/remaster by a company that's very good at it. And after they brought it up on Twitter, people went crazy with speculation. As always, guys, enjoy these videos. Make sure to like button. It does help out. And get subscribed here if you want to stay up to date on all things gaming news every weekday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We're actually going to start today with Astral Chain. Astral Chain's out this Friday. Let me know if you're getting it, because I'm on that game. I am ready. I've seen so much about it. I almost feel like I've played half the game at this point, but it does sound like reviews will be going up today at some time. I've heard 9 a.m. Eastern, so about an hour after this video goes up, we should start to see review scores on it. We'll go over it here, so if you do miss any of the scores or you want to round up, we'll do that here tomorrow, as long as they all post and everything. And then we also got confirmation on Twitter that Walmart will be selling that game $10 cheaper as well, if you're unaware. Been following this quite a bit. I'm not really sure why they do it, unless they said, hey, well, there's no more, what's the thing, Best Buy Gamers Club anymore. Amazon Prime doesn't do it, so we'll do it. Yeah, Astral Chain's gonna be $50 at Walmart. It's like $49 and some change, but that might be the place to go to pick it up if you're looking to grab it. I'm on it Friday though, but check for the reviews later on today. Also, I got a chance to play Call of Duty throughout the weekend, and I'm liking it. I think it's gonna be a game that's gonna be good, but I have a strong feeling that Activision's going to ruin it. Basically, Infinity Ward is gonna make a good game overall, mechanically, gameplay-wise, and everything, and then here comes Activision just to mess up with microtransactions. And one reason I can kind of point to here is that even the developers seem very interested in just having fun with this game. Let me give you an example. The alpha we saw has an Easter egg in it. I know, it's weird, right? It's a technical alpha, 2v2, but there's an Easter egg. It's an Easter egg, which is kind of neat. I saw this, as you're seeing here, just a quick snippet of it. This is from the Gaming Revolution, where in a certain level, you can actually go back, look down kind of into the sewers almost, and you'll see a red balloon kind of float up towards you. It gets stuck, but you can pop it, and that is just a really neat thing. And when posted on the subreddit for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, one of the developers simply replied with a smiley face, basically like, hey guys, you found it, that's awesome. Yes, I like these type of Easter eggs, and it's not like it's just a Call of Duty game that has them. We've seen, me personally, I am very familiar with seeing the Battlefield Easter eggs, like the Megalodon and everything. Those are really neat. There was even one, I believe in the most recent one, that's like a Loch Ness Monster kind of thing. It's like shaped like it, but they've done some really cool ones in these first-person shooters. They're just kind of thrown in there as fun things, but to see it in a technical alpha really lets me know that the developers are they're in tune with the community and they're having fun. And if you didn't feel old enough, Batman Arkham Asylum has now turned 10 years old. Isn't that crazy? The Arkham series is now 10 years old. I mean, that really is hard to believe that some of us are getting that old at this point. Maybe you were even really young when you saw it, now you're older and you're looking back on it and thinking, wow, it's already been 10 years. I mean, that game came out, what, a couple years after the 360 came out, so yes, time is moving very quickly in the gaming world, just in general, so enjoy the games you're seeing, because at some point you're going to look back on Mario Odyssey or I guess the latest Call of Duty or Sekiro or something, and you'd be like, oh wow, it's been 10 years already, because that happened the other day, over the weekend, for me anyway, with the Batman Arkham series. And guys, some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's talk about the Switch Lite right away. If you remember, I did a video, you can go check it out, but it was around the FCC filings and the pictures that they took of what we could see with the motherboard. I still couldn't see the D-pad, and I believe I couldn't see the joysticks, unfortunately. The ribbon cables look the same, so that's going to be fun when we find out that those have drifting issues. But one thing I pointed out, and it looked like it was going to be the case, but I needed to hear some impressions on it, and those were the buttons, A, B, X, Y, on the front. I mean, look, the triggers on the back, the bumpers and everything, those all look the same as the Joy-Con ones, so I figured they were going to feel the same, but A, B, X, Y did not. They reminded me very much so of the Pro controller, and it might be a little thing when you think about it, but consider this: you're going to be pressing A, B, X, Y constantly. In fact, you might be using those technically more than you would even the joystick or the D-pad at times, since you might switch between them, but you're always pressing either A, B, X, or Y to make selections or different things in the game. Well, it looks like they are not going to be clicky. So consider what you have for the Joy-Con right now, right? Where you kind of get this like tactile click when you push it down, but then transition over to your Pro controller and it's mushy, right? It feels like it doesn't have that same click to it. That appears to be what the Switch Lite is going to be using. It's not going to be using the tactile buttons that they've even used in the 2DS, the 2DS XL, 3DS, all of those. No, it's leaving those even behind. And this is interesting because going back, I guess it would be going back to maybe like the DS, right? The DS Lite, the DS, even before that, the Game Boy Advance, as their dedicated handheld system having those mushy rubber membrane style buttons, not clicky tactile ones that are built in to the board. And you got to keep in mind, I mean, get a Pro controller and be like, okay, or I guess you could go back to like a Wii Pro controller, basically a PS4 controller. Think of those, all right, where it feels like that, and then use the Joy-Con and then decide if that's a button you want to press. I actually like that. I'm okay with that. The tactile clicking isn't generally what I like to use when I'm playing on the Switch. I don't use the Joy-Cons as much unless it's in handheld mode. Now, I'm actually really interested in the Switch Lite because those buttons are very similar to the Pro controller. I think I'm going to enjoy it playing on it more. Now the situation shifts over to the joysticks. It also sounds like the D-pad is going to be very similar to the Pro controller, according to several different impressions. One was even posted on Reddit, pretty much detailing a lot of this. And if that D-pad has issues, well, it's also going to be built into it. So maybe we'll see what we can do here. Maybe do some work on it. I don't know, tape off some things, increase the little spike in the middle to make it so it doesn't press all the buttons at once. But those analog sticks, you can't do much about it if they're not good. If they're the same thing, it's going to be tough. You know, it's going to be a luck of the draw kind of thing. So we'll see what we get. Maybe they're using different type of materials on top for the sensor pads and everything. It's really is hard to say, but so far, keep that in mind. Right now, the buttons will be mushy. They won't be clicky, and you're gonna have to decide if that is something you like, or maybe you have to pass on it because of that. I'm not sure. You'll have to let me know down below. I prefer the mushy buttons, so let me know if you're more interested in the clicky buttons. Next up, let's talk about a game that I don't think will ever really be remade or remastered, but hey, let's read into some tweets from a higher up at the company anyway. This was actually tweeted, as you're seeing here, from Peter Dalton, who was responding to someone asking them on Twitter about the Legend of Dragoon series, asking, do you like the video game Legend of Dragoon? And Peter responds, I love the Legend of Dragoon. Perhaps it should be a project. And then going on from there, Peter did kind of tweet out, never actually diffusing the situation, like, oh yeah, no guys, I was just saying that'd be a fun project. It says, it is amazing seeing everyone's passion. It is humbling and reminds me why we remake games. It is motivational. It makes me want to push even harder to bring memories and greatness back to life. And I don't know if enough people nowadays remembers that game, Legend of Dragoon. It was back, I think it was like late night, like 1999, I think, but it was actually a pretty neat game. Sony made it and everything. I mean, they own the rights to it from what I remember, but that, I'd be on board with that. Legend of Dragoon revealed. I actually want to see if people would even remember it technically. That's the biggest thing, because there is an investment with remaking these, especially a game from the PS1 days. It's not like you're going to get it and run it through a machine and it's going to spit out the full game. That would be a longer game to remake, but what is Blue Point working on? That's the thing I don't know. Like, none of us seem to be able to figure out what they're working on. They haven't announced it. We thought it was Demon's Souls, but it might not be. It's interesting because they just did Shadow of the Colossus, right? That's one that at least made sense to me. I didn't think it was as big of a remake as something like, I think Legend of Dragoon would be more. And would they get the money back for it? So interesting stuff there. And let me know if you remember Legend of Dragoon, because that's a big question mark to me. I would buy it day one. I'd look even for a collector's edition because that was a really cool game on the PS1, and visually it was really cool it was great on the PS1. So there might be enough there for them to take it and make it look really, really good. Final Fantasy VII Remake good? Probably not. But at this point, maybe the PS5 will just be backwards compatible and we can pop the disc in and it'll smooth it all out. We can always hope. Next up, let's talk about Spyro. That's coming out next week, the 3rd, right? Next week, Spyro is coming out on the Switch. There's been a question. It's kind of gone back and forth. People seem unsure. I just wanted to set the record straight here because I did get a photo sent over to me from a viewer, someone who's actually working behind the scenes and everything, I guess, with the games and everything in the warehouses. And here is a picture of the game's box art, and you can indeed see it says digital download required, and it appears to be about 10 gigabytes is what I'm being told. So unfortunately, we were hoping that would be the case. We're hoping, they would be able to fit it all on a cartridge. We've seen the file size, by the way, on the eShop as being 15 gigabytes. Now, there could be more of a download on top of that even, like an update or something, but they should have been able to fit that on a 16 gigabyte cartridge. And when I see games like Dragon's Dogma released for $30 on a 16 gigabyte cartridge, I do question Activision on this one. I think they should have taken advantage of it and it should have fit there. Look, I know there were issues when it came out on the PS4 and the Xbox One, but that was a while ago at this time. I feel like they should have figured it all out, got it on a cartridge. But unfortunately, yes, if you buy it, it sounds like it's like a 6 gigabyte cartridge and then you download the rest. It might even be a 4 and then you download, even more than that. So you may want to download it digitally even because technically if you buy it physically, you're downloading it digitally anyway. So keep that in mind. Spyro, unfortunately, not on the cartridge. You're going to be downloading. And our last bit of news, let's talk about Pokemon Masters because you'll be able to download it and play it this week. It's launching August 29th, and that is Thursday, day before Astral Chain, right? So I have it marked out, okay? It's the 28th, that's Wednesday, because that's 2 days before Astral Chain, right? Now, the 29th, you'll be able to download it, Android and iOS, and this is them, of course, taking a shot, according to them, 3v3 story-based Pokemon game, where you actually go through a story with your character and everything and do real-time battles. So it's not quite, I guess, the same idea as Pokemon Go when it comes to battling and everything necessarily, and of course a full story. That's one of the reasons I'm a bit more interested. Look, I know Pokemon Go has its draw, right? Where you go around the world and you find different Pokemon and you capture them and everything. No, this is a bit different, right, from that perspective. So I think I'm more interested in this one. If I'm going to try out a Pokemon game on the cell phones, it would probably be this one. We also had a few other Pokemon games released before that I just tried and wasn't that interested in. This one might be it. But, of course, it comes down to how bad is it with the microtransactions, probably the gacha mechanics and other things thrown on top of it. I know it's a free-to-play game, so they're going to be doing it. But I guess how bad? Like, is there that annoying thing where you have to wait for so many hours for something to happen? That's the thing that always bothers me, is when it's like that. But if it's just standard summoning and stuff, but you could still play the game and enjoy it, that might be interesting. And of course, I guess technically Pokemon makes the most sense right now on cell phones because it's supposed to be pocket monsters, right? And I mean, you got your phone in your pocket, so there you go. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This one is from Rob Ortiz saying, Sunshine is great. I really hope they remaster it. Actually, Nintendo should do a GameCube remastered series. You see that, Nate? People like Sunshine, I'm telling you. No, I think if Sunshine gets remastered, I think there would be some excitement. People would really, I think, to a degree, freak out a bit online if they're remastered, because I think, as has been pointed out here by Rob, there's always the chance that maybe they do work towards GameCube games just getting a full remaster. If they had a series like that, that'd be cool. They could even bring back the little purple like triangle thing at the top left that says like what, only for Nintendo or only for GameCube or something. They could do something fun like that, put it at the top and it's like the little GameCube icon, or only for Switch, but it's in purple. There'd be some pretty neat ideas there if they wanted to do it. Otherwise, they would release it onto their online service, which, if they're not going to do a full remaster of a game, just drop it on the online service with GameCube games, and we'll work up to it. You know, how many NES games came out a month too? Okay, I don't know, like 20 years from now, we'll get GameCube games now. I would like to see Nintendo do some crazy thing, like Nintendo for the ages, or like how Sega ages, Nintendo ages, like similar to that, but it's all generations of Nintendo games all in one app and you pay a Netflix fee. That's what we want. But I mean, I guess if they want to remaster Sunshine or just do Sunshine DLC and Odyssey, that would probably work for a lot of people too. Ladies, let's go do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, the like button really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about, whether it's the Switch Lite and the squishy buttons or the clicky buttons. Let me know, I guess, which direction you would like to go on that. And then let me know if you're getting Astral Chain. I'm very curious. Their control's actually out tomorrow as well. I'm gonna pick that one up. And see how that goes. But let me know what your thoughts are, I guess, so far on what you've seen with Astral Chain, or if you're trying to avoid a lot of the spoilers of that. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.